Larry, can we open up, Larry?
Yeah, he's
Hey,
he
Larry.
wants them to save 3 laps plus the caution lap.
There's no.
That's an awful lot to save. And what I'll say now, you know, we're roughly a third of the way through this race. And it just looks like that we're not getting a lot of cautions. Now look at Ambrose sitting there who pitted on lap 12. You know, we talked about it. He's looking, if he wants to make this a 2-stop race, he's got to run 49 laps. But I think when I look at Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano, that all pitted on lap 22, what they've got to do if they want to make this a 2-stop race is they've got to get to lap 66. They've got to run 44 laps per run, which I think for some of these guys is definitely doable. But we know guys like Tony Stewart, like Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane, those guys that pitted later on under green, we know they can make it on one more stop. Yeah, I don't think you'll win this race making 3 stops.
But my point is, Larry, that you're talking about saving 3 laps. That's 5 or 6 gallons.
Well, when you figure, Wally, that it's roughly 2 miles around this racetrack, and they're getting about 4.6 miles to the gallon. If you kind of do the math there, that's asking to save a lot. But if you go back to last week, look at how much fuel those guys saved.
Yeah, but this is a different animal.
It is, because you're rolling off the gas so much.
Yeah, you can save gas at Pocono. You can save gas at Michigan. You can't save that kind of gas on a road course because you're on auto
Wally, I have learned after 30 years, never say never.
I'm not saying never say never. I'm saying that you can't save as much.
Okay.
I don't think you can save as much fuel on a road course as you can on an oval. There's too much on and off the throttle, and you're up gears, down gears. It's just, you know, if you're going to save a lot of gas on a road course, you're going to be 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower, and you're going to be getting run over.
But we almost know a lot of these guys are going to have to get up there to about lap 64 to 5. If we see them get to that point, we know they're probably in good shape.
We were just on board with Carl Edwards. He's in 8th. Boris Said has worked his way back to 9th. Hamlin leads at Sonoma. "42 laps are complete here in Sonoma. Denny Hamlin is the race leader, chased by Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Joey Logano up to 4th. David Reagan is 5th. Elliott Sadler has had an off-track excursion just a moment ago. We can show you that.
Yeah, this is coming through turn 10, leading onto the last corner, and he just missed his mark just a little bit. And Kyle and I were talking in the break. Real lucky. We've seen guys really wad race cars up going off in that corner.
Yeah, wad race cars. I've seen practice shut down for about an hour while you get the car from between the wall and the tires that are out there. Who is this? Rudeman.
Rudeman. You saw on the, well, I'll tell you what happened. This isn't his favorite place.
Got in there, jumped the curb, got into you.
Saw that Elliott Sadler was on pit road. He has been black flagged to come back and get some of that damage repaired. There's Rudeman.
Oh, and you see the 48 all the way on the other side of the curb.
Yeah, that wasn't really Rudeman's fault on that one. That was the 48's fault.
Yeah,
very good.
The 48 got in there and committed, and then he went all the way to the other side of the curb almost. So that was not David's fault, whether he likes the place or not.
And the 48's back there because of that speeding penalty.
Because he had a speeding penalty, and he had a speeding penalty under green. You know, a lot of times you get the question, why is one penalty different than the other penalty? Some happen under caution, some happen under green. Under caution, it's okay. You just go to the end of the longest line, and that's the way it's been, you know, unless they've changed it. But that's where you go because the race is not going. But when you get a green flag speeding penalty, it at an oval, it's a nail in your coffin. That's the way it is. Here, it's not that bad, but he is back in traffic.
Matt, what are you working on?
Bill down in the 14 of Tony Stewart started 4th. He's led last, but it's kind of a combo platter of work in progress. Not only talking about the handling of the car, which had made some improvements, but also fuel mileage.
Tires are much better this run. Still, I need to turn a little bit, but I'm turning as good as everybody in front of me. Our fuel mileage didn't come out quite like we planned there, but we're going to keep working on it here.
Goes back to the balance that they've worked on all weekend with this 14 car. They've been trying to find more fuel mileage, detuning the motor. It's just that fine line, that balance, Wally, Bill, and KP.
Right behind him, the 24 of Jeff Gordon. Marty, you're watching the 24 today?
Yeah, Bill, this is very interesting. We have a couple of races going on, as you guys have mentioned. The guys up front that pitted at lap 22, the guys behind, Gordon and Stewart, that pitted at lap 28. So really, this could be the battle for the lead between Stewart and Gordon back here. Just radioed from Steve Letarte to Jeff Gordon in about 3 laps. They're going to back you down some RPMs, going to have to save some fuel. Even these guys who pitted on lap 28, thinking about saving fuel, as Matt just mentioned with Tony Stewart as well, in the middle part of this run, so they can be good for the last part of the run. That's all that math that Larry Mack was confusing us with earlier, guys.
These things really can turn out in a strange fashion.
And there's multiple races going on.
Well, sure there are.
While we're talking about this race, there's guys up front. We had Casey Kane, who stayed out longer than anybody else to get in the fuel window, so he's at the back of the pack now trying to get caught back up.
Take us around there, WD.
Well, let Jeff take us around. He's going up through turn 1 here. And we talked about earlier, these guys are shifting a lot because of the gear rule and things that they have to work with. They're shifting actually a lot less than they used to. I believe, was he in second gear right there?
He pulled back last time, so I'm going to say
second gear right there. And he leaves it in second when we're watching him practice anyway, all the way until turn 7, which is through this right-hander and the next right-hander.
And you can watch the RPMs. There he goes to first.
Yeah, and then he goes to first. But it used to be we would have made 5 or 6 gear shifts by that time.
But as they've developed the transmissions and the engines, these engines will pull better at 2,500 to like 9 or 10,000, whatever they pull to 9,000 or so. Unlike they used to, we had to keep them in the RPM band.
Right.
The RPM band is so much wider, and the torque band is so much wider. These guys have a lot more room to work. But that's why they use first gear also.
Now, before we went to commercial, we were talking about Marcos Ambrose, who was running in the top 5. He pitted on lap 41, so the 47 car currently runs 26th. And they're really going to need some help here to get back up front. See how that works out for Marcos. Denny Hamlin leads by 2 seconds in Sonoma. TNT Sports back at the road course in Sonoma. Fans want more TNT coverage. The Coke Zero in-car camera on Race Buddy lets you vote for and ride shotgun with Coca-Cola racing family drivers. Check out the Coke Zero in-car camera on NASCAR.com's Race Buddy and cast your vote now. That's Clint Boyer's look out the front bumper.
Clint's given us some good shots. I mean, he's been up on the curb. He's been in the back of somebody. he's been a little bit of everywhere.
in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but he's given us some good shots today. You got to give it to him.
That camera's made it through, 49 laps so far. That's pretty good.
It's a great shot. I love that shot.
I can tell you that Reed Sorensen has returned to the race. He is 14 laps down in the 43 car. Now, the 1 is Martin Truex Jr. The 71 is Gilliland. That's basically a loaner or a rented car from Truex.
Yeah, the TRG guys had some trouble. Here's the 71 of Gilliland. There's one guy on the track that you don't want to get into, and it's either your teammate or the guy that lent you a car. And it's just Murphy's Law. It always works out that way.
Yeah, here, buddy, I'm going to give you a $100,000 race car, and then I'm going to run into you with it, okay? That's the way it works. But that's
and
incredible.
that wasn't on purpose.
No, not at all.
David got in there hot, and those guys have struggled. I mean, they really had a lot of hope for this weekend, and David kind of did a bonehead move in practice and had to borrow this car. Yeah, let's talk about what happened in practice. And what happened, I'm sure David was coming out of the pits. John Andretti's in front of him. David's probably looking at his gauges or doing stuff that he's not paying attention, and just clobbered John, who was trying to come out on the track and not getting these other guys' way. And I mean, it ruined that 71 car.
And I want to say something here. That can happen to anybody. Jeff Gordon did the same thing to Bobby Hamilton driving for the 43 team at Atlanta.
That's right.
On an oval track back, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. And you get to looking at gauges, tightening your belts one last time. Somebody's talking to you, you just lose focus.
David told me this morning he thought he saw Andretti go, so he thought he was clear, and he was looking in the mirror, watching for the traffic to go by because it's so hard to merge at that point.
But how many times have you been sitting at a stop sign, looking to the left, and the car in front of you think it drove off?
No
and
comment. No comment.
Yeah, no comment from me either. That's what I'm saying.
Last week I had to do a whoa, Bill. Trust me, it was close.
Look at Montoya here.
Gordon runs in the 15th position. Montoya right behind him. Marty?
Yeah, Bill, last 2 laps, Jeff Gordon's lost 4 positions only because Steve Letarte told him to back off. Remember, we told you he was going to say that at some point. That happened while we were in commercial, actually, and Gordon backed off immediately. In about 2 seconds, he's saving per lap, trying to gain 1 lap of fuel under green. So playing the strategy, letting people go by.